right now? I mean, I know that I think it's been documented you want to return to college football eventually, but does it have to be a specific type of program, or is there anything you'll take anything, or just go anywhere?
Looking for the right program. We did a real good job on graduation rate at Tech. Went from the lowest and felt like, first of all, it's important to get a degree. Second of all, developing your skills to compete in the classroom, or you're learning to be a competitor, and I think they translate on the field. So we like that. I want someplace that's important. I want them to want to win at football, not just sign up for football. And then when these things are at the best, is when there's a teamwork effort. When everybody's pulling for the university. Somebody invents something, somebody writes something. The volleyball team wins a championship or something like that. Everybody's celebrating the successes of everybody else, so then it's bigger than you and it's bigger than football, and it's just a great community to be a part of.
Big 12 mini days have not been the same without you. I've got to get your take on the Longhorn Network because there were so many opinions on that.
I think they're still ironing it out, like what in particular what they can do with regard to broadcasting high school games and things like that. As a coach, you're not allowed to comment on them. You can't say, we're recruiting so-and-so and he's really fast and he's a great running back. You can't say that, but showing pictures of it on TV on your own network that does a lot more than say it. I don't know how far that's going to go. I also think, I don't fault Texas at all. Texas's job was to get the biggest and the most for Texas, and that's what they did. But, by the same token, there will be teams in the bottom of this conference that may be able to make just as much money and have a better chance of winning elsewhere, and so they may take up and do that.
Do you think this book and lawsuits are hurting your chances of getting a head coaching job?
Well, it's had a chilling effect. I mean, they smeared me for, the better part of a year, and so this is an opportunity to set the record straight. I mean, on one hand, I get, if you upset ESPN, ESPN threw out a bunch of lies about me for a period of time, and so I definitely have an interest in setting the record straight. And if I'm a head coach only at the pleasure of ESPN, then there's something wrong with the business, and there's something wrong with this country if they're dictating who people hire as head coaches.
That pretty much eliminates you from coaching at Texas, but does that worry you the way that ESPN is making those connections with large schools and schools?
I don't know. The reporters there, with two very notable exceptions, are all great people, and I get along with all of them, and they all, I think have been fair. What's going on at the top with regard to some of this, and I don't know who that would be, but you wonder about some of that. But this business of ESPN's not an entity that coaches or college football in general should be paying tribute to. I mean, we should be partners with them, not indentured servants to them. So.
Mike, you've always had a knack for developing great quarterbacks. OU has Landry Jones. Oklahoma State now has Brandon Whedon, two fine quarterbacks. Things look really good for both those programs this year, don't you think?
Both of them, and a lot of people, and I'm one of them, think that that showdown at Bedlam will probably dictate the conference champion. Oklahoma probably is slightly in the driver's seat, but Oklahoma State's got everybody back too. And then the thing that could mix it up a little bit is Texas, because, keep in mind all those guys playing at Texas all had invitations to play at OU and Oklahoma State. They just decided they were going to Texas, and so it's not like there's anything wrong with them as players, and so I don't think they'll be down too long, and if they'll at least be dangerous enough that they could upset somebody and stir things up.
It's the Big 12 -2 now. What do you see the conference future for this? There's been a lot of rumors that A&M could go to the SEC one day. Where do you see this conference 2, maybe 5 years from now?
I don't think the shuffling's over. It looks to me like other conferences are still chasing down teams and having bidding wars. The Big 12, I think 10's a good number for a conference. I've always thought then everybody plays each other, and you know about the other teams rather than there's a couple teams that are strangers on the other side of the conference. But I do think other conferences will continue to expand, and I think that the Big 12 may as well. You got to wonder if all these conference is the big this, the big that. Wish they hadn't selected a number as part of the name of their conference, because right now all the numbers are wrong. I mean, the SEC's glad they called it the SEC and didn't bother to attach a number.
Well, when you see you back on the college football scene this year as an analyst or anything like that?
I'm still doing my radio show. I'm on Sirius 91 with Sirius XM 91 with Jack Arute for the college football playbook, and that's 11 to 2 Monday through Friday. I'll do that, and that complements my book effort, and to do TV as well would have been a pretty tall order.
Mike, it looks like a pretty warm reception here from the people, even though it's been a while since you've been in Norman and OU. Talk about the reception in here at the OU kind of station.
Well, this is incredible. I mean, people in Oklahoma know more about football than anybody I've run across. I mean, even after I'd been gone for a while, you could go to a convenience store or something to get a drink on your way to go see the next recruit, and there'd be a wife or a child or somebody, and they'd come up and they'd have that media guide memorized. You know, they'd know all this, not just where you were before and after. They'd know your hobbies. They'd know, one time this happened, one time. I mean, it's incredible, and it really is incredible. And I've always thought that that's one thing that's made Oklahoma, both programs, is when they'll get these guys from other states and out of state and things like that, and it means so much to the people at Oklahoma. All of a sudden, those other players and recruits have a funny way of getting a lot tougher. And I think just as that's the Oklahoma influence rubbing off on them, that's so meaningful to the people here. And as you guys know, this state is truly full of tough people. So.
I was going to ask you, do you see any pirate potential in any member of this crowd?
Yeah, the whole lot of them. I think every one of them would be perfect.
Has anyone come dressed up as a pirate yet?
Yes, they have a number of times. They definitely have, and I've got some books and some memorabilia and whatnot. So.